live, Cat? I didn't see the alert come through on the DE pages, but I will trust you if you say we are live. Welcome to the Tuesday night principal Cairo broadcast from DE and Band of Brothers. I'm Dr. Brian Moriarty, your esteemed MC for tonight's exciting call with Aracelly Martinez, and I'm joined here by my two co-MCs. Who are you?
Emma.
And?
Definitely not Patrick. It's actually Patrick. It's Patrick. No, it's not. It's definitely not Patrick. Patrick. I know it's you. No, it's definitely not Patrick. It is. Not.
It is.
Not.
You know, they could just be like the whole show. Like, you don't even need me here. Like, you guys just do it, all right? You want to talk about DE coming up in October, guys? Okay, so we got the fall DE coming up in October there. Look at that. You got Dee Umber there. He always kicks it off. DE coming October 19th to the 22nd in Atlanta, Georgia. Get registered. Get your hotel as early as possible if you know you're coming. You get a discounted rate for the conference, and you can get in that room block and not be shut out scrambling for a room at the last second. Go to lifede.com to register at the Atlanta Marriott Northwest. Our upcoming dates, besides the October one, let's get to that overlay. There we go. We're also in Clearwater in January and April, and then back in Atlanta in July. All those dates are 18th to the 21st. So once you hit 2024, you'll remember every time because it's 18th to the 21st of January, April, and July. Again, register at lifede.com. We also have the Cairo Cup coming up for the Georgia Council of Chiropractic. Our speaker's husband, Eddie Martinez, will be joining me, Brian Lieberman, and Steve Judson on Team Dynamic Essentials, the defending champions. So if you'd like to unseat us and take the crown, October 19th, the Thursday of DE. Won't want to miss it. 9:30 shotgun. Great prizes. Literally one of the most fun you will ever have at a golf event. So go to the GCC website to register for the 6th annual Cairo Cup. Benefits a lot of great causes for chiropractic. And Emma wanted to say something about DE, so go ahead, Emma.
I love DE.
So there's your testimonial for coming to DE. Emma loves it, right? So definitely come to DE and come hang with Emma and me and Patrick and Laura, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It's so much fun. So anyway, who's our speaker tonight? I've touched my hair. Who's your speaker tonight? Do you know her? What's her name? Okay, you can't whisper it in my ear. Say it loud.
Aracelly.
Your auntie Aracelly is the speaker, and she's the executive director of the Florida Chiropractic Society, which I serve as their wonderful president. And listen, she's an amazing lady, guys. And we had Kat on here, I believe it was last week, and she did an amazing job, the GCC's executive director. So we're kind of mixing it up here with a lot of powerful people in chiropractic, especially these powerful women that may not be chiropractors. Can you not whisper in my ear? What do you want to say? Say it. Oh, you want to show them your lost tooth. Okay, great. Patrick, what are you hiding back there for? Well, this broadcast is going sideways. But anyway, some powerful women speaker in chiropractic, and Aracelly is no exception. She's been serving as our executive director since 2018. She kind of stepped in on a whim. Like we lost our last executive director, and she kind of filled in as an interim role. And very quickly, we realized that she was incredible, like absolutely incredible, and we couldn't function without her. So we're so happy to have Aracelly running the show at the FCS. She's just does an incredible job. I can tell you that I pretty much annoy her 24/7, text her at midnight, and all kinds of stuff like, hey, can we do this? And she just answers with a smile, yes, absolutely, I'm on it. She is a workhorse for the FCS and for Principal Chiropractic, and we're so honored to have her fighting the fight. And speaking of the fight, there is a fight in Florida, guys, right now, as they try to once again expand the scope of practice in the state of Florida and include a lot of stuff like drugs and dry needling and injections and muscle relaxers and everything you could imagine. So, if you're not an FCS member, and listen to this talk and seriously consider it, whether you live in Florida or not, you can support us because the FCS is pretty much going to war right now, and we love your support. So, without further ado, originally she was born in Nicaragua, right? Nicaragua. But now living in Coral Gables, Florida. One of me and my wife's best friends. Guys, give it up for the executive director of the Florida Chiropractic Society. What's her name? No, not your name. Aracelly.
Aracelly.
Say Aracelly Martinez.
Aracelly Martinez.
Take it away, Aracelly. We love you.
Hello, 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 guys. Thank you, Emma, for that wonderful introduction. You definitely do a much better job than your daddy does. I love that. And I love you guys very, very much. So thank you. Really, Eddie? So, guys, this is how Eddie and I work. This is our office. This is my office. This is the FCS office in my house that I moved to. I moved to the house when COVID hit and my kids were home. And I never moved back to Eddie's office to join the FCS, to move the FCS there. So this is how we do it. Eddie sits next to me at night when he comes home from the office, and we just keep working and keep answering Brian's emails and texts. And yeah, so right now we are actually working on some letters and stuff that we have to take to the Florida Board of Chiropractic meeting on Thursday that I'll be there attending with one of our board members. I believe our vice president will be attending with me. So yeah, so that's what we're working on right now. But well, I'm honored to be in this Tuesday night call. First time that I've done it, and I'm very honored and humbled to have been asked. In the FCS, when we have board meetings, we always tell the board members, don't go to the bathroom, don't get up to go to the bathroom, because if you do, you'll be reassigned positions or you'll be switched to a committee that you probably don't want to be in. So don't go to the bathroom. So at DE, I went to the bathroom and I ran into Brian Moriarty and Brian Lieberman. And they're like, by the way, you're on the Tuesday call in 2 weeks. They didn't even ask. They just told me. And I've always been told that if someone in chiropractic asks you to do something for chiropractic, you just say yes. You step it up and you say, yeah, absolutely, I'll be there. So I'm here and I'm very excited to be here. Check out my shirt. I'm wearing my FCS, DE, GCC, and Wake Up Human shirt. So this is one of my favorite shirts to wear in the office and when we go to DE or any FCS event. So a little bit about myself. Most of you guys know me, and I don't know how many of you know my story of how I got involved in chiropractic and how I fell in love with this profession. And although I'm not a chiropractor by education or by degree, but I am by passion, and to me that's way more important. And I feel like I can explain and deliver chiropractic and the message of chiropractic way better than a lot of chiropractors right now that have a degree in it. So I'm very proud of that, and I love doing that. I love delivering the message to those who want to hear it, and I live the chiropractic lifestyle. So I'm very proud of that. I got into chiropractic when I was maybe 17, and my best friends were CAs at chiropractic offices, and I had a lot of issues, health issues with my menstrual cycle, and it was just always very bad and all out of control, and not what I wanted and not what was normal to me. So my mom took me when I was 17 years old, took me to the doctor, and he said, well, the only way we're going to be able to help her to get her back on track, to get her period normal, for her not to be bleeding so much and all this, without too much details here. But he told my mom the only way we can help her is if we put her on birth control. So if you are from Hispanic descent, you know that 17 with a boyfriend, that was just not an option. My mom said absolutely not. She can die of pain. She can suffer until she's 21, and then she can decide to go on birth control on her own, but I will not put her on birth control at this time. So you just have to keep dealing with it. And I did. My mom would just give me over-the-counter painkillers for when I was in my time of the month, and I just had to deal with it, and it was horrible. I really, really did not look forward to that, and it was just extremely painful, and it was bad. So my best friend at the time, which is still my best friend, and she was working at a chiropractor's office, and she said to me, "You have to come see our chiropractor. It's gonna help you. You're gonna see if you come in and start getting adjusted on a regular basis, your issues are gonna be helped." At the time, I was like, "What does chiropractic have to do with my period?" It made no sense to me. I'm like, whatever. I was just desperate. I'll go see the guy. And I went, and I started getting under chiropractic care. I was so desperate. I'm like, I'm just gonna do what this guy tells me to do. I'll be here 3 times a week, and I'll follow his recommendations. And I sat through the orientation, and I watched the video, and I just trusted. I just trusted the process, and I knew I had to do it. So I did, and before I knew it, months went by, and I'm like, wait a minute, nothing has happened as far as the symptoms I used to have. They're not there. I wouldn't even know when I was getting the time of the month because I didn't have all the issues that would happen before that. So so at that moment, I understood, and I believed that chiropractic was the answer to what I had been looking for, and that's where my journey began. That chiropractor was Dr. Musachios, right? That was Musach. Where are they? I think they're in North Carolina. They moved from Florida a couple of years after I started with them. So then my best friends, they went to work for Eddie's cousin, Dr. Kodinach. They went to work over there as CAs, and then I switched chiropractors. I started seeing his other cousin that was in the same office, Dr. George Trujillo. He was my chiropractor, and I started seeing him, and I started getting adjusted by him, and that's where I met Eddie, in the office when he finished chiropractic school, and he went back to his cousin's office to do his internship. That's where we met, and should I tell them how we decided to date?
It's your talk.
So a little funny story. We my best friend, Dr. Auda Tovar, which I'm sure she's not here, she's on a cruise, but you guys all know who she is. She's all over Facebook. But so Dr. Tovar has been my best friend since we were in middle school, and we were 14 years old. And she always would say, "I know you better than anyone else, and I know the type of guy you like, and this guy in Kodinach's office, his cousin Eddie Martinez, wants to ask you out. But I told him that you're not his type, that he's not your type, and he's just gonna break your heart, and he's just gonna play with your feelings. So absolutely not. You cannot go out with him, and I'm not giving you his number." So they went back and forth, and I didn't know this until after. They went back and forth, and then one day I was at the office getting adjusted, and Eddie said, "Oh, by the way, I've been asking your friend for your number for a while, but she says that absolutely not, that we cannot date." So the rebel that I am, I'm like, "Well, why don't we just go out, and let's just go out to piss her off? Let's just go out just to piss her off. She doesn't want us to date. Let's just go out. Let's just prove her wrong." So that was 27 years ago, and we probably are still pissing her off. So that's exciting. So I started, we started dating, and then when he got his license and he started practicing out of his cousin's office, I was still getting adjusted by his cousin, full spine. And one day he came to my house with this little briefcase looking thing, and he came over to my house, and he goes, "Now that I have my license, you are going to switch chiropractors. You're only going to get adjusted by me, and you're only going to get adjusted this way." I'm like, "Which way? You don't have a table." And he's like, this is a table. I'm like, that's a briefcase that you're carrying. It was a portable knee chest table. I had no clue. So he opens it up and he goes, get on your knees. I'm like, what in the world are you doing? Absolutely not. I am not getting no knees and I'm not doing any of that. It's like, get on your knees. This is how you're going to get adjusted. And he gave me the best upper cervical knee chest adjustment ever. And believe it or not, after that, I don't like my thoracics adjusted. I don't like my lumbars adjusted. Sometimes he does, but I don't like it. I like my knee chest only adjustments. So Tammy Judson always tells me, you have to get adjusted your thoracics from time to time. You have to get your thoracics adjusted. But I got used to it and I absolutely loved it. And so that's how our journey began. And I kept experiencing all these wonderful things that chiropractic was bringing into my life. And I'm like, I have to marry this guy because I need chiropractic care for the rest of my life. And that's what we did. We got married and we began having children immediately. And there was no question about how we were going to raise our kids. The one thing that I have to thank Eddie, actually, one of the main things that I thank Eddie for is for him educating me well enough that before we even got engaged and before we even decided to get married, we knew exactly we were going to be on the same page. We spoke about vaccines. We spoke about how our kids were going to be raised health-wise. We discussed pediatrician care. We discussed how I was going to give birth, how he wanted me to give birth. And I was okay with all of it. And I was fascinated. And then I started doing my own research. And before I had Alex, our first kid, I knew all about vaccines. I knew everything I wanted to know. I had done my research. I knew exactly why I was doing what I was doing. So it was never a question. It was never an argument. It was never a disagreement between the two of us. We were always on the same page. And I don't want to brag too much about this, but the way that not too many people can work with their spouses. I sure, had my moments in which I just wanted to walk out of the office when I was full-time in the office with him. And then now with the FCS, when I started working for the FCS, I had the FCS office within Eddie's office because I just didn't, I wanted to have it separately from my house. So I did not want to have it in my house. Plus I didn't have the space at the time to do that. So, so we wanted to have that, the mindset, and we've always been on the same page when it comes to that. And the connection that we have, the two of us, is just, to me, I don't think I could have it with anybody else. We get along great. I love going to DE. I've been going to DE since we were dating, pretty much since we were dating. And it was part of the process. It's like, this is my family. This is my DE family. This is my chiropractic family. This is the family that I want you and our future kids to grow up with. And that's exactly what happened. We got married. I started going to DE more. I wouldn't miss any DE. I was pregnant. I started having kids. And yes, I was one of those moms with Tammy Judson and all the other moms from our era that we would sit in the back and just play with our kids and have our kids in blankets and have our kids playing around. We had no kids to eat back then. So it was just what I loved and what I wanted for my family and how I wanted to raise my kids. My kids have grown up with chiropractic kids all their lives. And, Eddie has said this before on stage. So far, none of our kids want to be chiropractors. Not that they don't want to be. Let me rephrase that. Deep inside, they do. A couple of them do want to do it. They just don't want to go through the schooling of it. We were talking to Sophia the other day, and I said, let me ask you, why out of all of the kids, I thought that you were the one that was going to want to be a chiropractor? because Alex, since he was little, he was into the math and he was into the computer stuff, and he always knew he wanted to be engineer. So it's like, I want to be an engineer. I want to be an engineer. He always wanted to be that. So I knew that that was his path. And one day maybe he'll just invent something and he patent something for chiropractic, and he'll be a chiropractor in that sense. But so Sophia said, well, I just don't want to do all the sciences. If I could skip all the sciences, I would love it. I would absolutely love it, but I just don't want to do it. I hate science. I don't think I can do it. So, we planted that already in there, and we'll see. For now, she's loving her business world, and she's doing amazingly great on that. And we're just very happy of whatever our kids want to do. They go ahead and do it, as long as they do it with love and passion, what they have grown up with. They can be whatever they want to be. I do have a rule on that, though. I told them, if you're not going to be chiropractors, marry a chiropractor. So maybe I'll do what what's his name, what Cordero did with his daughter. Put a big ad, my kids looking for a spouse in chiropractic. So anyway, so going back to how I started how I continue my life through chiropractic after raising my kids at DE and working with it in the office. In 2018, I have a teacher certification. So I was teaching second grade, and as a favor to a principal friend of mine, she was desperate last minute, and she's like, please, I just need you to fill up the spot for a few months, 6 months, until this girl comes back from her maternity leave, and then you can leave, because she knew I didn't want to teach anymore. So I took over this girl's classroom supposedly for 6 months, and that turned into 2 years almost. And then towards the end of that, Eddie was the president of the FCS, and one day he came home and he's like, we don't have an executive director. I had already been helping the previous executive director before the one that left before me, Craig Burko. I was helping him a lot. I was going to the conferences with Eddie, and I was just helping out. I was volunteering because I just love doing that, and I love people, and I love to talk to people. So I would just help out. So I kind of knew a little bit about what was going on in the conference and a little bit of what was behind the scenes. So he said to me, we need you to help us. Just help us for 3 months, 4 months, until we can find a replacement, and we can, but I can't do this. And he was having like health issues at the moment, because he was going through a lot of stress. This being a board member, being a president, being a vice president, being an executive board member of an organization that's trying to make a difference and is trying to make so many changes and trying to fight so hard for a principle, it is very exhausting. It is exhausting. It's tiring, and these people don't get paid. So he was doing this after the office at night. He wasn't sleeping, and so I said, okay, what's my choice? Do I have a choice? Pretty much like, no, you don't have a choice, because I either have a heart attack or you help me out. So I wasn't going to have my husband die on me. So I'm like, okay, I'll help you a little bit, but you guys have to find someone quick, because I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. So please find someone very quickly. And that was 2019, 18. And they still haven't found anyone. So I don't know if they're looking. I think they stopped looking by now. But yeah, so, and I took over. I jumped in, and I gave my all. And I love chiropractic. I love chiropractic for what it stands. I love chiropractic for what it does to people. And I love chiropractic because it has given me the opportunity to have a better health, understand health, teach it to my children, and most importantly, raise my family with the DE principle. Not too many people can say that. Not too many people have that. So it's our job as chiropractors, as CAs, as spouses, to teach and to promote and to help people understand the principle in order for them to do what they do better. Right now, like Brian said at the beginning of the talk, we're fighting a huge battle in Florida. we have a ton of mixers, Like the principal chiropractors in Florida is like the 1%. And so and our organization is the strongest in the principal and is the one that fights all the battles. So right now we're getting ready to go to the board meeting on Thursday. I go to every single board meeting. I travel to Orlando every quarter to sit there and listen to these people just talk garbage, pretty much. The board members that we have now are not the brightest and are not like the best for the principal. I'm sure in their own world, they are amazing people, but for the principle of chiropractic, they're not on our side. So our job is to fight for that, fight for the principle, fight for what we know, fight for what BJ Palmer did and Sid Williams did. And we need the help. We need the help from the members. We need the help from other states. And the way that the FCS and the GCC came together during COVID is just, honestly, it's the most beautiful thing. CAD was a great tool for us, as we work for them too. And we worked together during those times, putting together webinars, helping chiropractors navigate COVID in their offices, putting together website instructions on where to go for applications, where to go to find stuff that they needed during this whole COVID situation. And we developed such a great sisterhood relationship with the GCC. And if more and more organizations get together and fight the battle together, we will become the strongest principal organization in the entire world, and no one will be able to bring us down. And that's exactly what we have to do. That's what we have to look forward. So my mission right now is to challenge each and every one of you to ask people in your community that are chiropractors that you might not know if they're members of your principal organization in your state. I challenge you to call one doctor a day. Just Google chiropractors in your area. If you know that they're not an FCS member, a GCC member, or a Palmetto member, or the Texas member, or the New York Council member, if you don't know if they're members, just call and ask them. Say, hey, I'm Dr. Martinez from down the street. I just wanted to ask you, are you an FCS member? Oh, I'm not an FCS member. Well, then why not? Do you understand what's going on? I don't know what kind of practice you have. I don't know what kind of things you do in your office, but no matter what you do, you went to chiropractic school for a principle. Even if you do other stuff in your office, the principle has to always be there because chiropractic has to come first. So listen, you're not going to fight. You're not going to go to Tallahassee. You're not going to go to the board meetings. You're not going to take time away from your family and from your office to be doing this stuff. But for $60 a month, for $100 a month, guess what? The FCS does. The GCC does. So can I have our executive director call you tomorrow morning and get you signed up to be a member of the FCS, to be a member of the GCC? If we, each of us, get a call, go call a chiropractor in our area, and each of us get 5 members for our organization, can you imagine what we can do? So I challenge each and every one of you guys to do that. Go out in your community, go talk to the other chiropractors, get them on board to join your principal organization, even if they're not practicing 100% principal chiropractor. Believe it or not, most of them have that principle hidden in there somewhere, but they just caught up in the world of the other stuff. And it's hard to get out of it when you've been in it for so long. So DE now has become a thing of challenges sometimes. So I'm not shaving my head, absolutely not. But maybe we should come up with some challenge that we, if we each bring 5 more members to our state organizations, I don't know, maybe the board, the DE board will do something special for us. I don't know. I'm not shaving my head. Maybe we can have Steve Judson shave his head. We'll sacrifice him and put him up there. Or one of the other board members. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. I'll see you guys in October. I will be missing the Cairo Cup this year. I'm very sad about that, but I'll be there Friday. Unfortunately, we are left with one child at home. All the other kids have left pretty much the house. Our third one is leaving to college in 2 weeks. So we're keeping KK. We have the little one at home, so I can't just take off as I used to anymore, unfortunately, because I lost my driver. So I'll be in the DE. I'm very excited because I'll be seeing you guys, but I won't make it to the Cairo Cup. So I love and appreciate you all. Have a wonderful night. I don't know what happens next, but I'm done.
All right. Great job, Aracelly. You did awesome.
Thank you, Brian.
Aracelly, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Aracelly? And I really love your challenge.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. And yeah, I love your challenge. You will shave your head if we get 5 new members of the FCS tonight.
Absolutely
or tomorrow.
not.
That is a great challenge. Your hair is beautiful, but it is worth the sacrifice for Principal Chiropractic. Amen. Amen.
No, that's okay. We can have Steve Judson. His hair is nicer than mine.
He is on here. He just wrote a comment.
Oh, he is?
Steve,
Oh,
Aracelly is challenging you. Aracelly's challenging you to shave your head, Steve. What say you?
Is he saying challenge accepted?
Yeah, it looks. He said, yes, challenge accepted. It looks like.
Awesome! Oh, so excited! Okay, five memberships, guys. 5 memberships.
5 memberships, and Steve and Aracelly will shave their head, guys. Let's get on it. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Aracelly. Listen, thank you so much for everything you do for the FCS. We truly, truly appreciate you. Our board absolutely adores you, and you are such a wonderful. Every time when I go to quit, Aracelly is always like, one of us is quitting or the other one's quitting, but it's like we can't leave each other. So
he can quit.
Yes, but anyway,
he can quit. So no one can quit. Actually,
no.
I have the nicest board, not for anything, but I have the most amazing board. I had never worked for a board like that. I'm a very control freak person. I don't like to be told what to do. I don't like to be micromanaged. So it was very, very hard for me to just step in and have a bunch of men tell me what to do. I was not okay with that for a while, but it has flown. Well, now we have women, thank God. Yes, we have 3 board members that are women, and I love them, and they're powerful. So so I'm very happy with my board, and I'm very happy with.
And I loved hearing the story of how you guys met, and as a spite date for Aura. So that was. I hope she hears this when she gets back from her cruise, because that was an awesome story.
Yeah, and she knows. She knows. She always says it.
Yeah. So anyway, Saturday Night Live is coming up September 9th, right? You got Tony Ann Satilli and Andy Harding down here in Fort Lauderdale in September 9th. So definitely come check us out, 7 p.m. Fort Lauderdale. And thank you so much for being on tonight, Aracelly. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday night. Nicole Kaufman-Cole is your speaker. And we'll see everybody next Tuesday on the Principal Cairo broadcast by DE and Band of Brothers.
Bye, guys.